The place reminded me of a yurt we'd built in school, only about 80 times bigger. The curved walls were made of log beams, the same type that crisscrossed over our heads in an intricate pattern. The roundness of the room was odd, yet comforting. Unlit logs sat in an elaborate stone fireplace around which luxurious overstuffed couches, love seats, and armchairs formed an audience. For a few seconds, despite the situation, my 9-year-old mind pondered what wonderful forts could be made with all those cushions. Mom sat on a green couch and cradled Therese, while Lexi stood beside them, glowering. Dad lit kindling between the logs in the fireplace. The familiar smell of wood smoke wafted toward us, seeming out of place in a setting so distinctly unfamiliar. My father put his hand on my mother's shoulder. His knuckles were white. He chose that moment to tell my mother and sisters that Graham and Eddie hadn't made it. The announcement made it real, made it final. A verbal execution. Wails erupted from inside me. Mom and Lexi cried too. I ran to my mother. She held me along with Therese. Lexi leaned against Dad, and his arms encircled her. We stayed that way for a long time, my face crushed to Mom's bosom. She smelled of lilacs. As I sobbed, she stroked my hair. Like always, Mom's touch was comforting and warm. Even that night, that heinous night, her touch helped. Our cries sounded over the crackling of the logs. After a long while, sobs faded to sniffs and shudders, waning from fresh grief into leftovers. Feeling the need to move, I stood up. I wiped my nose with my sleeve and climbed onto a stool by a large bar with a stainless steel refrigerator behind it. Dad flicked a switch. A plasma television dropped down from the ceiling, blank monitor glowing. I figured we'd be in here a lot. The blue from the television tinted Dad's face and blonde hair in a garish way. He startled me when he threw his arms out to the side. Cozy, yes? What do you think? It's not what I expected. Mom's voice was shaky. Dad rubbed his jaw. What did you expect? I had a pretty good idea what Mom was thinking. In 3rd grade, I gave an oral report on nuclear war. If you lived in a target area like we did, you had approximately 40 minutes after nuclear weapons were launched. 40 minutes to do what? Say goodbye to loved ones, stuff yourself with donuts, take a 100-mile-an-hour joyride, whatever one did with only 40 minutes left to live. If you were me, the son of Rex Yanakakis, billionaire, those 40 minutes were spent escaping to an underground shelter built specifically for the Yanakakis family. Here I would live out the next 15 years in luxurious comfort while nearly everyone else perished. We hadn't seen this shelter, only heard Dad talk about it. So I think Mom felt like I did, a little surprised the place actually existed. I don't know. Mom's head swayed slightly. The movement caused a tear to drip off the slope of her nose. At least it's quiet down here. Dad observed her for a moment. Then he switched off the television. Eli? Lexi? Want to see your rooms? Our grave circumstances had not yet sunk in. I was a robot, dazed, simply sliding off the stool to follow my father and my older sister. It felt like a dream. Through a doorway on the opposite side of the room from where we'd entered, we proceeded down a long carpeted hallway similar to the ones in our house in Seattle. Only difference was this one smelled of vanilla and had the constant hum of a generator. Dad narrated as we walked. All the walls are reinforced, as we discussed, to keep out radiation, but the concrete is not pleasant to look at, so all the rooms are finished in wallboard or wood. I didn't want you to feel surrounded by concrete and steel. Dad stopped in front of a purple door. Lexi pushed it open and squealed. Leave it to her to cheer up over material possessions. Like something out of an Arabian Nights book, silk tapestries and curtains of bright colors were draped everywhere. A monstrous canopy bed ran the length of one whole wall. There was an exotic, cloying aroma. Incense, maybe? Lexi disappeared into the closet. When Dad talked about the compound, he told us we'd have duplicates of everything we treasured. What an idiot I had been to believe everything I cherished could be reproduced. We left Lexi to explore and continued down the corridor. Dad indicated my room on the right. I pushed open the red door. Fresh-smelling, meadowy air blew softly into my face.